Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting introduction to the Necronomicon. It is September 22nd, Saturday, 2018. It is the first day of fall, according to our calendar system. But since our calendar is a special snowflake, and we can't do anything without it, it is technically fall. Although we've already entered fall quite a while ago. Damn snowflakes. Ruining everything. That aside, today's video will be a little different. This video will go over the main book. Yes, we will be looking at the core book, the one in the middle. Avon Books' best-selling book to date that has never been out of print since its basically first print. The Simon Necronomicon. You will find this book in every Barnes & Noble. You used to find it in every Borders. A few witchy shops and metaphysical shops. And then we have the spellbook to the left, obviously, and then the gates of the Necronomicon to the right. We will be looking at these books, but today we'll be looking at the first book. Getting started with this path, it has two entry points. The core book, the one in the middle, and the spellbook to the left. This is considered taking the backdoor method if you go with the spellbook. This is how most are introduced, and to some, not all. They only care about the magic contained in the spellbook. And why not? It's easy to understand, and that's why it's the backdoor method. However, you need to start with the core book. When I was called to this path, my mom had the main book. I still have her copy. And it called to me. And I made sure to read that. And then when I bought my own copy in 2010, I found out these other two books were there. And I bought these later on. Yeah, I may have started with the spellbook, magically speaking, but I at least read the main book before I did. Basically, I knocked on the front door. No one answered. So I went around the back and let myself in. I'm your backdoor man. And get your mind out of the gutter. You're fucking better than that. The core book. This is what every would-be practitioner needs to read first. Yeah, it may read like a roadmap from another country, but if one takes the time to sit down with the book and apply yourself to read it, you'll see and realize that it's not so complicated after all. That being said, you will run into parts of the book that may seem like, what the hell? Or, how am I supposed to do that? Just relax and take a deep breath and refer to the papers in the attic, also known as the Warlock Asylum. this website will be your friend. On top of the 2 YouTube channels that are my brothers, Black Tower and Magickology. They are seasoned practitioners and can help answer any questions that may arise, and they will. I highly recommend watching their videos first, and if what you see isn't among their videos, then you can ask. Since Magickology has pretty much covered basically everything. But again, watch their videos first. Because sometimes they may have answered your question in a video. Then there's also the Simon Peter Levina recording. The link to that and the YouTube channel and Papers in the Attic will be in the description. Reading the core book requires reading in between the lines, as well as understanding seasonal, planetary, and star shifts throughout the year. Overwhelming, yes, but we do live in an age most simple questions can be answered by Google. And my brothers, and Papers in the Attic. This path will weed out those who do not belong. Just as paranormally speaking, this path will choose you if it feels that you are able and strong enough to wield its power. I've met a few other people who've had paranormal experiences about that, knowing that I'm not the only one. This book will get into you, literally, if it feels you are worthy enough to wield its power. Now, I'm not saying you can't go out and pick it up and start, but this book has a way of coming to people who have the ability to wield it. Any magical ability. It's a little paranormal, I know, but this channel we cover the paranormal as well. Now, I'm not trying to set up any connection to H.P. Lovecraft's fictional version or anything like that. I'm being honest with you. I'm being authentic. And I'm drinking a Dr. Pepper. The breakdown. Oops. We have the following chapters. Now, I've only included the book. We have the supplementary material to 777, notes on pronunciation, the spells translated, common Sumerian words and phrases in English, a word concerning the original manuscript, banishings, testimony of the Mad Arab, Part 1, of the Zonai and their attributes, the Book of Entrance and the Walking, the Incantation of the Gates, the Conjuration of the Fire God, the Conjuration of the Watcher, the Book Makalu and of the Burning Evil Spirits, the calling, or the Book of Calling, what it meant, the Book of 50 Names, which is the spell book, but we'll get to that when we get to it, the Magan text, the Aurelia text, and the Testimony of the Mad Arab, Part 2. These are the key components of what makes up the core book. Now, I've included a word concerning the original manuscript. Why? Because it gives you an idea of the forces you will be working with. And it is very important to understand, that this isn't, Raymond Buckland or Gerald Gardner type stuff. And Simon, Peter Lavinda, in his video, which, again, the link to that video will be in the description, has said that reading the Magan text, I wouldn't say daily, but, reading the Magan text can help you through your life, your daily life. I'm trying to paraphrase, but it's in the video. Kind of like reading the Bible. Certain passages to help you through your day. Except for this is the whole text. The art of the ritual. This path requires the practitioner to follow the guidelines contained within. It is customary to follow any and all of the steps prior to the conjuration of the watcher, then gatewalking, as it is lawful. Blindly going in may result in psychological damage and possible physical damage, as the forces of these gods, spirits, and entities generally haven't been called on in at least a millennia. So it is imperative to follow these steps given. The best way I can describe it is you wouldn't go into somebody's house and, start messing with, their stuff when you weren't invited. And since this is an initiatory system, to help you get close to these spirits and gods and entities, you just don't want to blindly walk in. And as I said, it's customary to follow any and all of these steps prior. There's items you need to get. There's an amulet you must make to help protect you. It is the Amulet of which is essential to your gate walking and conjuration of the Watcher. If any of my brothers are watching, please feel free to correct me. I can learn if I'm wrong here. Unlike some people, I can take criticism. It's how we learn. But I'm just trying to be authentic with you, as this is the way I have seen this system. Duality. To the beginner, when you come across the Aurelia text, you will and be given the impression that this is for the malicious left-hand path practitioner, as this is where you find the abominations and their magics. As I mentioned before, you must read between the lines. Once you walk the gates of heaven, you can walk the gates of the underworld. Doing this brings out what lies within, all that you've repressed away, all your deepest, darkest moments in your life that you want to forget. Facing your demons, so to speak. If you can face your demons and make peace with them that way, you will have obtained balance. Look not as it as malevolence of one's heart, but the mastery of one's darker self brought into the light. And that's how I interpret it. Now, there are some things in the Aurelia text that are like, huh? And quite frankly, I will be asking one of my brothers to talk about this, because I'm kind of curious myself. But that's for another time. So, and that's going to do it for part 1. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to ask away. If I can't answer your questions, comments, or concerns, I will point you to my brothers. Which, again, please watch their videos first before asking, because they may have already covered that question. One of the biggest pet peeves I have with the witchy community is with these kids being lazy. They want people to do their work for them, and they have the information to look it up, but they don't want to look it up. They want somebody to, answer it for them. And that's one of the biggest pet peeves I have, is lazy practitioners. And that's why, for the sake and sanity of others, please apply yourself. But that's a different story for another day. And again, for more information, Papers in the Attic, Magickology, Black Tower, and the Simon recordings will be in the description below. Be sure to click that little bell icon to stay informed for part 2 and 3, as well as many of my other videos that may pop up. You can find me on my social medias in the description box below. If you would like to help me with my GoFundMe campaign to save my home, the link to that is in the description. Any donation amount is acceptable, whether it's from $1 to $100. It all adds up, and it's all going to an actual worthy cause. And I appreciate every donation. And I appreciate every donator. I even appreciate the ones who cannot donate financially, but who share my link as well. Sharing is caring. I appreciate and thank everyone who shared or donated, or both. And with that being said, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for part 2 and 3.